Everyone thought he was just a weak human, but he turned out to be the strongest magician in the demon army. Ike, a magician in the demon army, showed such incredible strength and skill that he was promoted to commander. Now, he leads his troops on the battlefield, strategizing how to conquer the impregnable fort of Arsenum. On the battlefield, humans and monsters fight fiercely, killing each other by the thousands, all for supremacy. Meanwhile, Ike stands on a cliff, watching the massacre unfold below. After a long struggle, his troops manage to break through the castle's main gate and enter inside. But the humans don't give up easily, they fight valiantly, sacrificing their lives to defend their castle. The human Lord Commander watches from his windows, safe inside the castle, as the battle rages on. Suddenly, Ike decides to pay him a visit, not wanting any more lives to be lost. The commander turns around and immediately recognizes Ike, his tales are told everywhere. Ike confirms that he is the leader of the 7th Legion of the Demon King's army, known as the Immortal Brigade. He offers the commander 3 choices: calmly surrender and become a prisoner of war, take his own life to save his honor, or if he has no honor, jump out the window and run away. The commander smirks and refuses all options, calling Ike a traitor. He charges at Ike with his sword, but it's useless. One swipe of Ike's wand knocks him out cold. Suddenly, Ike's assistant, Piggy, also known as Jiran, appears and asks what to do with the prisoners of war. Ike tells him to heal the commander and anyone else who surrenders without a fight. Piggy is shocked, as is a mysteriously beautiful woman watching through a crystal ball, impressed by how Ike captured such an important castle with just 1 brigade. Ike then places a magical barrier around the area, preventing anyone from entering the battlefield. He looks out to see countless human casualties being treated by demons. Feeling troubled by the horrors of war, Ike reflects on how much he despises it but knows he has no choice but to keep fighting. After all, he's not really a demon, he's a human wearing a demon mask. Ike was abandoned at birth, but a demon magician named Romberg took him in. Romberg was a brilliant magician and a kind teacher who always dreamed of a world where humans and demons could live together. Romberg taught Ike everything he knew about magic. Before his death, Romberg told Ike to always keep the mask and robe on, warning that if the Demon King found out he was human, he would be tortured and killed. Sitting down to relax, Ike casts a magic field around the room so no one can enter without his permission. But suddenly, he notices a trembling maid hiding under the table. She immediately starts apologizing and crying, claiming she didn't see anything. In her panic, she hits her head on the table and knocks herself out. Ike wonders how to handle this situation but decides to deal with it later as Piggy calls him outside. As they walk through the war-torn streets, Piggy asks Ike why he spares so many humans. Ike bluntly replies that the current Demon King only cares about results, not how they're achieved. But Piggy insists that many demons think Ike is too soft on humans and it would be better to kill them all and burn the streets. Ike refuses, explaining that they need humans to pay taxes. After all, war isn't cheap. And since Arsenum is a trade city, they need humans to manage it. Piggy struggles to understand Ike's reasoning when they suddenly encounter a group of humans. Piggy warns them to back off, but Ike lets them speak. One of the residents asks how much more tax they'll have to pay the demon army. To their surprise, Ike says the taxes will remain the same. They're relieved, but Ike warns them that if they oppose the army, they'll be punished. As Ike speaks, he suddenly vanishes in a flash of light, leaving Piggy surprised. Ike finds himself in a dark dungeon, immediately attacked by a giant monster. He dodges the attack and shouts at a mysterious woman, telling her not to summon him like that. The monster keeps attacking, so Ike pulls out his wand and uses a special magic attack to defeat it, though, unfortunately, we can't see it because the editors forgot to brighten the scene. The woman, Saphiro, appears beside him. She remarks that the last time she saw him, he was just a kid hiding behind Romberg. Noting the golem's strength, she compliments Ike's growth in power. Saphiro, Ike's superior, is the only demon who knows his secret. She assures him not to worry about the sudden summoning, saying it's more fun this way. Ike asks if he's here to report on the war, but Saphiro says she saw everything and his execution was flawless. She reveals that the Demon King wants to meet him, which surprises Ike. A Demon King doesn't usually bother with a mere brigade leader. Ike wonders what the catch is, but Saphiro says the king is curious about how he captured Arsenum in just a week. Saphiro teleports them to the Demon King's castle, and Ike is impressed by its size. As they approach the main gate guarded by demons, Ike asks Saphiro if he'll be checked before entering. Saphiro replies that the Demon King is the most important person in their world, so everyone is checked. Ike feels nervous about revealing his identity, but the guards are overwhelmed by his powerful magic aura and let them through, acknowledging him as Romberg's grandson. Walking through the castle halls, Saphiro flies beside him, and Ike thinks about how he's not as good at flying as she is. They reach the courtroom entrance, where Saphiro tells him to wait. While waiting, Ike reflects on the Demon King, Darrow, known for both his competence and ruthlessness. The humans were winning the war until Darrow turned the tide in a single battle. Darrow is merciless toward incompetence but rewards talent and competence, regardless of nobility. Saphiro calls Ike inside. He enters with his head bowed but is shocked to see a young girl on the throne. At first, he thinks she's the Demon King's daughter, but he quickly realizes she is Darrow. He bows deeply. Darrow, impressed by Ike's swift capture of Arsenum, questions his reluctance to kill humans unnecessarily. Ike argues that fear doesn't breed loyalty, and good leadership will earn the human support. Intrigued, Darrow teleports in front of Ike and demands to see his true face, but then suddenly leaves. Ike breathes a sigh of relief and learns that he'll be in charge of ruling Arsenum as a reward. Back in Arsenum, Ike finds the maid, Suddy, awake and apologizing. He reassures her and appoints her as his personal maid. In return, Suddy promises to keep his secret. Walking through the damaged city, Ike realizes the defenses need urgent repairs. Piggy estimates it will take 6 months, but Ike insists on 1 month, organizing a joint effort between humans and demons to work around the clock. Piggy, witnessing Ike's brilliance and leadership, is moved to tears, secretly hoping that one day Ike might even become the Demon King. Some time passes, and Ike receives news that the Demon King has tasked him with gathering information about a potential alliance forming among the human kingdoms. During the last battle, the demons faced a sizable human army, which couldn't have come from just one kingdom. Suddy, now more comfortable with Ike, accompanies him on a reconnaissance mission to a nearby kingdom. While there, Suddy gets distracted by a trickster, but Ike quickly reveals the scam and takes her away. As they walk, munching on some fruit, Ike tells Suddy that he believes the humans are indeed forming an alliance. Suddy seems puzzled, so Ike explains that whenever something life-threatening, like the Demon King, arises, humans set aside their differences and unite against their common enemy. According to Ike, this alliance has been formed 3 times in history, and each time, the humans successfully defeated the Demon King's army and pushed them back to their castle. Suddy asks if the humans will win this time too, which surprises Ike, as she should be rooting for the humans. But Suddy replies that humans have never been kind to her and made her a slave. If the demon army hadn't invaded, she'd still be trapped in a cage like the other slave children. Ike realizes how cruel every society can be and reassures Suddy that the current Demon King is the wisest and strongest in centuries. Before they can continue their conversation, a voice interrupts them. Ike turns around to see the trickster from earlier, now accompanied by a bulky goon. The trickster yells at Ike for exposing his trick. Ike, annoyed, points out that it was a scam, not a trick. The trickster gets mad and threatens Ike, but Ike calmly looks around to make sure no one else is watching. He pulls out his magic wand and uses ice magic to freeze the goon's feet. The trickster is shocked to realize Ike is a magician, but before he can react, Ike creates several icy spears and points them at the trickster, telling him to apologize. The trickster, thinking Ike was bluffing, started cussing him out. But Ike wasn't playing around. He jabbed the trickster with one of his icy spears, showing he meant business. After that, Ike asked the trickster if he had any information about what was happening in the kingdom. The trickster, scared for his life, revealed that the kingdoms had formed an alliance, and the kingdom of Rosaria was planning a surprise attack on the demons to get an advantage and a chance at glory. Ike thought it made perfect sense and asked the trickster where they were planning their attack. Surprisingly, the trickster knew all the details about the war plans and said that the city of Arsenum would be attacked because its defenses were weak right now. Ike, having learned what he needed, left with Suddy to return to their city and plan the defense. That evening, Rosaria's army sent a battalion to invade the city of Arsenum. But before they could even get their siege weapons ready, skeletons began popping out of the ground. Their leader, named Alistair, told them to maintain formation as skeletons were weak. Unbeknownst to them, they had walked straight into an ambush. Arrows started falling on them like hail, and a bunch of orcs burst out of the jungle, starting to smash their army. Alistair quickly realized that Arsenum was prepared for this attack and that they had walked into a trap that could potentially wipe out the entire battalion. She immediately called her soldiers to form a retreating line and make sure no one got left behind. Meanwhile, Ike and Piggy were watching this unfold from the walls. Lord Piggy praised Ike, saying that without him, they would have definitely fallen for a surprise attack. Before Ike could respond, an arrow shot from behind hit Ike in the back, causing him to collapse to the ground unconscious. When he regained consciousness, he found himself in bed with Saphiro. She explained that Piggy had called her after Ike got hit, and she had quickly healed him, or he might have died. She congratulated him on thwarting the surprise attack but warned him that if this kept happening, the Demon Lord might get suspicious due to the minimal human casualties. Ike replied that no matter what, his primary goal was to make the world a place where both humans and demons could live together, just like Romberg had imagined. Saphiro told him to take care and then vanished. Piggy came in and reported that the human commander had been imprisoned by her superior, who considered her a disgrace for retreating from the battlefield. The next morning, Ike decided to visit the prison where the commander was held, wanting to meet her. However, he was followed by Lily, an underling who was far too annoying. Ike told her to stay silent or leave, but she stayed by his side as they spied on the guards in front of the prison. Lily asked if she should take out the guards so Ike could enter, but Ike said he didn't want to create a scene. Of course, Lily didn't listen and went ahead, beating up the guards and claiming she didn't kill them just as he wanted. They entered the prison, which turned out to be bigger than Ike had imagined. He realized it would take much longer to find the commander. Lily managed to beat the information out of one of the guards, who told her the commander was on the top floor and even handed over the keys. As they moved toward the stairs, other guards got alerted and attacked them. Lily handed the keys to Ike and told him to go ahead while she dealt with the guards. Ike proceeded, watching as Lily took care of the guards before continuing upward. Soon, Ike reached the top floor and opened the cell, only to find it empty. As he stepped inside, the commander attacked him from behind. Ike barely managed to dodge the attack. The commander grabbed a knife and continued to attack, but Ike slipped past her and took out his staff, knocking her down. He let her get up, and she asked if he had come to laugh at her for losing or if he wanted to kill her. Ike replied that he only wanted to know if she had sent an assassin to infiltrate Arsenum and kill him. The commander looked surprised and asked if he was really a demon, which confused Ike. Just then, the sound of guards rushing to the top floor broke Ike's concentration. The commander seized the opportunity and put a knife to his throat, demanding to know if he was a human or a demon. Ike was unsure whether to reveal his true identity. With guards searching all around the prison, Ike decided to use a special magic that slowed time around him. This surprised Alistair, who immediately realized something was off. But Ike told her not to worry, as it would wear off soon. He casually walked past her and the guards in slow motion, using black wind magic to blow them away. Before he could move further, a large knight carrying a weapon called Morning Star attacked him from behind. Ike skillfully sidestepped the swing, and before the knight could regain his balance, Ike used a gravity spell to slam him down. The ramp beneath the knight broke under the weight, and he fell to the ground, but just as he was about to hit the ground, Ike broke his fall. Alistair wondered why Ike wasn't killing the guards when he could easily do so. Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet also collapsed, and she fell. Thankfully, Ike saved her midair and carefully set her down. He apologized for the chaos and introduced himself as Ike, commander of the Immortal Brigade. He answered her earlier question by confirming that he was a demon. Alistair was still unsatisfied, but Ike pressed her again about whether she had sent an assassin to kill him. Alistair, being a knight, refused to reveal anything, even under threat. Ike decided to use his mind-reading abilities, a trick he learned from Korean dramas. Instead of breathing on her face, he extracted the information he needed. He then told Lily that their job was done and prepared to leave. Alistair called out, asking if Ike had come just to make fun of her. Ike replied that he only wanted to confirm whether she had sent an assassin, and now he knew she hadn't. He told Lily they were leaving, and despite her protests, he opened a portal and went through it, leaving Alistair puzzled about what had just happened. When Ike returned to his mansion, Suddy was there to greet him. He took off his mask and handed her a small pouch filled with rice. Suddy was confused, having never seen rice before. Ike explained that rice was much easier to grow than wheat, which was notoriously hard and required a lot of labor. With rice, fewer farmers would be needed, and the remaining men could do other important jobs like being masons, chefs, or smiths. This would boost productivity and help even the poorest people become middle class. Suddy still didn't get it, so Ike simplified, more food means more money. Suddy finally understood and asked if he knew how to cook rice. Ike admitted he had no idea, so he gave her the task of figuring out how to cook it. After dealing with that, Ike commanded Piggy to assemble his forces for a meeting. Piggy was puzzled by Ike's request but soon learned that the arrow that hit Ike had come from the enemy. Since Alistair wasn't responsible, it meant there was a spy in their own army. Ike used his mind-reading ability to identify the spy, found a nervous demon sweating bullets, and teleported in front of him. Ike extracted the information from the spy and then met with Saphiro at night. He informed her that the traitor was Jace, a veteran one-eyed goblin and second in command of the 7th Battalion. Saphiro, who was taking a bath, said they needed to make Jace pay for his treason. The next morning, Ike strolls into Jace's territory, which sends a chill down Jace's spine. Realizing he's been caught, Jace is a bundle of nerves. Ike asks to meet Jace alone, but Jace, being the goblin version of a party host, shows up with a goblin army in tow. Ike informs Jace that he's aware of his treason and has come to deliver justice. Jace, however, has other plans and mocks Ike for being foolish enough to come alone. He boasts that his army is twice the size of Ike's and threatens to have his troops pounce on Ike the moment he gives the order. Ike just laughs and says he was expecting something like this, leaving Jace scratching his head in confusion. Suddenly, there's an explosion. Jace turns around to see enormous fireballs raining down on the city. Chaos erupts as everyone tries to escape in every direction. It's all the handiwork of Saphiro, who has enough magical power to turn the city into a barbecue pit. Ike hides behind a building, wishing she'd be a bit gentler on the infrastructure since they'll need to rebuild it. But Saphiro is on a roll, continuing her fiery bombardment and sending her skeleton army to clean up any remaining traitors. Ike sneaks up behind Jace and offers him two options: die as a traitor or surrender as one. Jace isn't thrilled with either choice and orders his troops to attack Ike. Naturally, they're no match for Ike, who dispatches them with ease. Jace seizes the opportunity to dash across the rooftops, but a giant demon blocks his path. Jace dodges the demon's punch, uses a smoke grenade to disappear, and then escapes through a portal into the forest. He looks back at the devastation and vows to take down Saphiro before walking away. But just then, a fireball lands squarely on his backside, sending him crashing to the ground. Jace turns around to see Ike, who's followed him all the way. Ike tells Jace to surrender, but Jace, miffed by being ordered around by a brigade commander, lunges at Ike with a punch that Ike blocks with ease. Ike tells him that resistance is futile, then uses wind magic to blast Jace into a tree before binding him in magical chains. Realizing he can't win, Jace tries a new tactic and admits that Ike is stronger. He proposes that they team up to overthrow the Demon Queen, claiming she's too emotional and prevents them from killing humans as much as they'd like. Ike rejects the offer, and Jace makes a desperate attempt to throw a knife at him, which Ike dodges effortlessly. Saphiro arrives and starts interrogating Jace, ripping him apart for information, but suddenly Ike notices Jace is poisoned, but it was not Saphiro's doing. Ike tries a healing spell, but it fails due to the strong poison. Saphiro demands names and vows to avenge Jace's death, but just as he's about to reveal them, Jace dies. Ike feels a twinge of sympathy for the traitor, but Saphiro tells him to toughen up and grow a pair before she walks away from the body. Later that night, Ike and Saphiro visit the Demon King's castle to meet Darrow. Darrow is curious about the commotion. Saphiro reveals that the traitor is Bastio, the commander of the 2nd Battalion. Darrow asks for proof, and Saphiro explains that the vice commander tried to kill Ike to gain control over the 7th Battalion and dethrone the Demon Queen. Darrow looks behind them, and Ike realizes that the headless knight standing there is Bastio. Bastio accuses Saphiro and Ike of framing him, claiming Saphiro wants to take over his battalion. Saphiro is furious and unleashes her magic, but Darrow tells her to calm down. Darrow begins a philosophical rant about how demons, driven by power, always want more. She says if Saphiro starts killing demons for ambition, she'll soon have no subordinates. Darrow then turns to Saphiro and says while she acknowledges her loyalty, it's partly her fault her subordinates went astray. Darrow decides to hold a duel between Saphiro and Bastio, with the winner surviving and the loser dying. Saphiro prepares for the duel and explains to Ike that it will involve controlling magical creatures called puppets. Each commander will control 50 puppets, and to win, they must defeat all of their opponent's puppets. Ike is surprised by this roundabout method and asks Saphiro why they can't just fight directly. Saphiro believes Darrow wants to see their command skills. She says commanders can send proxies to fight for them, naming Ike as her proxy. Ike hesitantly agrees, realizing that Saphiro's life now depends on his performance. Nervous about the responsibility, Ike is reassured by Saphiro, who believes he's a more skilled commander than she is. She holds his hands, entrusting her life to him. The next day, Ike heads to the room where his puppets are kept, knowing their performance relies on his skill. He spends the day reading strategy books, and when Suddy brings him tea, he asks her the best way to win a battle. Suddy prefers peaceful tea discussions but gives a hypothetical answer, suggesting using a broom as a weapon for its reach. Ike agrees it's a good idea and also considers crossbows for their power and range. Suddy suggests using something even more powerful, leading Ike to think about creating guns. He believes Saphiro, the most talented alchemist in the demon army, could help. However, Saphiro is busy enjoying pool time and tells Ike she can't make something she's never seen before. Ike questions her usual confidence, but Saphiro splashes him and invites him to join her, leaving him flustered. Meanwhile, Bastio prepares for the duel, examining a black sword made from a dragon's tooth and instructing his subordinate to make more. A spy returns with news that Bastio is sure to win. Later, Ike returns from a late-night shower to find his coat delivered by none other than Demon Lord Darrow. Ike is startled and kneels, fearing she's discovered his human form. Darrow throws him a bundle full of guns and asks if this is what he wanted. Ike panics and tries to bluff, but Darrow reveals she knew his secret all along. Romberg had already spilled the beans about Ike being human. Upon hearing this, Ike wonders why she allowed him to live. Darrow explains that she wants skilled people like him to help her build the world of her dreams. She sees great potential in Ike, who vows to serve her loyally. With that, the Demon Queen teleports away, leaving Ike's mind in a whirlwind. The next day, Ike shows the guns to Saphiro, who's surprised that Darrow gave them to him. Saphiro starts making lead bullets for the guns but, being a bit of a rookie, makes them too big. After Ike's guidance, she finally gets the right size, but suddenly an explosion is caused that blows a hole in the room's wall. Saphiro, startled, says she didn't sense any magic from the explosion. Ike calmly reveals it was part of his plan. From the smoke emerges Phony, one of Ike's underlings, saying they've prepared the gunpowder just as Ike requested. Saphiro, having made some bullets, is told they need about 500 more. She passes the task off to Phony, claiming hard work is bad for her skin. The day of the duel arrives, and the demon audience is buzzing with excitement. Ike stands before his puppet troops, who are holding just plain shields. Bastio, surrounded by his armor-clad and well-armed puppets, laughs at Ike's seemingly underprepared troops. He boasts about his armor made of Damascus steel, which he claims is impervious to swords and arrows. Bastio mentions that the steel was a gift from Darrow, as she wants him to win. Ike is puzzled by the Demon Queen's intentions but decides to save his questions for after he wins the duel. The duel kicks off. Bastio commands his puppet archers to shoot, while Ike tells his puppets to block. Despite their shields, some of Ike's puppets are hit by arrows. Bastio's spearmen advance, giving his troops the upper hand and reducing the number of Ike's puppets. Bastio mocks Ike's defensive strategy as boring. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out in the arena, and one of Bastio's armored puppets drops after a bullet to the head. Everyone is momentarily stunned, trying to process the shock. Then Ike orders his gunmen to open fire. The arena fills with the sound of gunshots as Ike's puppets start picking off Bastio's armored troops. Bastio is baffled as his first row of puppets fires, then retreats to reload while the second row steps up. In this manner, all of Bastio's troops are wiped out, and he's left in disbelief. Darrow appears in the arena and gives Bastio two options: end his life like an honorable warrior or face her wrath. But Bastio has a third option up his sleeve. He has stationed an archer with a special arrow aimed at Darrow. The archer fires, but Darrow catches the arrow effortlessly. To her surprise, the arrow contains a bomb that explodes, catching her in its blast radius. Ike, worried for Darrow, watches as similar explosions erupt all over the arena, causing chaos and casualties among the demon audience. On Bastio's command, an army of skeletons emerges. With a sinister laugh, Bastio declares himself the new demon lord. The story will be continued in future videos. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.